Hi everyone, Jesse here with eTrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at and I'll show you how to install the CURT Universal Trailer Wiring on our 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe. Trailer wiring is just one of those things that's absolutely essential if you plan on doing any kind of towing with your vehicle. It's going to keep you safe and legal out there on the road. And what it does is it will send a signal from the vehicle to your trailer lights and make those work properly. That means your tail lights, your turn signals, and stop lights. So whenever you are ready to hook up to your trailer, you would have it hanging out like this. And with the way we installed our neighbor's wiring, whenever you're not using it, it's really convenient to be able to store it outside of the elements, and you really wouldn't even know it was there. You can just tuck it into this storage space, close it, and it's disappeared. But then when you are ready to use it, it's as simple as pulling it out, closing your hatch, and plugging into your trailer. And the wiring is designed to do that. You don't have to worry about damaging it at all. And then our 4-pole plug, it's just your standard 4-pole plug that'll plug into any trailer connector. It also comes included with this dust cover. As I said, trailer wiring is not one of those things that's real fancy. Once you install it, you're real proud of it, but you do need to have it if you're planning on towing with your vehicle. If you have any questions or concerns about this trailer wiring or anything else we offer here at eTrailer, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to get you pointed in the right direction. As for the installation process, this is a universal kit, so it does involve quite a bit of splicing wires, and you'll have to test those wires to figure out which ones you need to splice into. So I'd understand if that's not something that you're comfortable with. Check out our dealer locator. You can find someone local to you that would be happy to get this set up for you. If you are looking to see how I got this installed, then follow along and I'll walk you through it. We'll begin our installation inside of our cargo area here. I just want to pull up this floor panel. So we're going to be removing this storage box. There's 3 screws holding it in. They are hidden under these plastic caps. Just pop those caps out with a flathead screwdriver. And then there will be a 10mm bolt under each one. Once you get all those removed, we should be able to lift this out. It's just going to be held in by some clips, so you will have to work it out. So there are some clips on the front side here. If you kind of pull towards yourself, that should release them. And then we have some more clips on the back side. So we'll just carefully release those. I'm using a plastic trim tool to try to work up under it because I can't get my hands in there. So once you work all those clips out, we can pick this up. You will have to kind of rotate it to get it out of place, but then we can set it aside. Next we'll pop this sill plate up. Should just be held in by some clips, so just work it loose. Set it aside. And with our side panel, we have 2 10mm screws holding it in. One there and one under our 3rd row seat here. Now we should be able to pull out on this panel. It's just held in by some clips, so you can kind of work your fingers in there and pull it towards you. And behind this panel is another 10mm screw. In order to get this piece off, there's one more 10mm screw tucked way back in there. But I'll get that removed. With those 2 screws removed, we're going to start working this piece off. Once again, it's just held by clips, so just work your way around. Once you have all those pins released, you can kind of just hang it by the seat belt. I had to hang up on this pin here that was tucked up by our rear window, and I ended up just reaching in, pushing it on the tab, and then firmly pulling out, and it eventually came out. But then from there, this is the wiring that we're going to be working with. So what I'll do is cut back some of this electrical tape so that we can test our wires and figure out which ones we need to splice into. Now what we need to do is test our wires and figure out what function they're doing. I've already tested ours, the brown and black striped wire. That's going to be our daytime running light signal. And then our turn signals are both blue and orange. So you'll have to go through, test them, and then what I did was mark them so that I know which one is which. So now we can grab our new wiring kit and start splicing it in. Now before we splice everything, it's a good idea to find a good spot for your converter box. It'll have some double-sided adhesive tape. I'm just going to tuck it back here out of the way. And before I do that, because it's going to be hard to reach, I'm going to add on our power wire extension. So I just crimped on the included butt connector to one end of that extension, and I'll do the same with our black wire coming out of our converter box. Get that crimped on and make sure it's nice and tight. And now we do need to just pay attention, make sure your 4-pole end is accessible and the rest of our wires will reach up to this wiring that we're about to splice into. Just peel off the backing and we'll get it tucked back here on a nice flat surface and get it stuck on. Now our white wire is our ground and it has a ring terminal already crimped onto it. We just need to find some bare metal to self-tap it into. So really anywhere you can reach is fine, and we'll just use the included self-tapper, get it attached right about here. Now with our lighting system, we're actually going to be grounding the red wire also. So if you want to, you could just splice it in with the white wire. I'm just going to add a ring terminal on because I have one, and I'll install it right on top of that white wire ground. I'll use our included quick connectors, and I'm going to start with the tail light. So that's our brown wire coming off the converter box. You notice one end of your quick connect is kind of blocked off. We're going to send that brown wire up there. And then we'll take our brown and black wire, feed that into the other slot. It is kind of tricky just because these wires are so packed in there. Quite skinny. And once you have that in the slot, take a pair of pliers, squeeze this metal tab, and that's going to make our contact. Give it a nice squeeze until it won't go anymore. Then we can pop our cover on it. We'll do that same process with our left end turn. It's just going to be different colors. Your green wire is your right turn, and the yellow wire is your left turn. Now as far as our power goes, we actually have 12-volt power on this harness here. So you can test it, but I already did. It's this off-white wire here. Also this pinkish wire has 12-volt power. But that's what we'll splice into, so I'll end up cutting back this electrical tape just so we have more room to work. But before we do that, we want to unplug this from its power source. So there's a pin here. If you push that pin down and pull back on this black tab, it should pull out. And now we don't have any power, so we're safe to work with this wire. So before we can splice into our 12-volt power, we'll need to install our fuse holder. And before you do that, make sure that the fuse is not installed. What we'll do is take this loop of wire, cut it in half, and strip it back. And I'll connect that with a yellow heat shrink butt connector. Just crimp it on, and then we'll crimp it onto our black wire, and then we'll attach the other end to that wire that we found power at. So I strip back the other end of our fuse holder, and now we'll cut into our factory wire, strip it back on both ends, then we'll tie it in with our trailer wiring. So on one end you'll have to kind of twist the two wires together, then put them into our butt connector. Make sure both wires get into that butt connector, or else you won't have a good connection. So I ended up stripping back a bit more so I could twist those wires together better. But once again, I'm going to crimp that down. Make sure both wires are nice and secure in there, and then we'll connect the other end. Now we can plug in our power, get that to click, and we'll take our fuse holder and our included fuse, get that installed, just line it up and push it down. Now to test, we have a 4-pole tester plugged in. We do have these available here at eTrailer, or you could use a test light or even hook up to your trailer. We just want to make sure that everything's working before we hit the road. So I'll run through the lights. This will be our tail lights. Left turn, right turn, and brakes. All that's left is to get all of your inside panels reinstalled. It's really just the opposite of how we took it off. And then you're ready to hook up to your accessory or to your trailer and hit the road. So that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the CURT Universal Trailer Wiring on our 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe.